So a lot of entrepreneurs have this one fear, the fear of selling. And I'm not talking about selling your product or service one-to-one. I'm also talking about things like writing an email to your email list and promoting or mentioning your service or your products, posting on social media, promoting your services or products, looking for collaboration opportunities and reaching out to people that you don't even know, strangers, to get them to collaborate with you, or even things like creating a conference or creating an online summit, things that are sales generating activities, right? So all of these things are sales generating activities, yet so many entrepreneurs are afraid to tap into any one of these. And the reason behind that is often the fear of selling. So let's talk about the number one thing to overcome fear of selling. And no, it's not more sales strategies, it's not more sales tactics. It's the one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize how important it is when it comes to selling and how to overcome that fear of selling. So first, let's start with why entrepreneurs even have that fear of selling. Now, selling comes easy for some entrepreneurs, and for a majority of entrepreneurs, selling is something that they have to hone over the years. It's a skill that requires them to practice over and over again. But where exactly does this fear come from, right? What exactly is it about selling or pitching yourself or reaching out to strangers that is so scary? And there are two things that is pretty much the reason that's causing fear of selling. Now, the very first thing is probably a past experience that you've had. So, a past failure that you've had with regards to promoting yourself or mentioning something that you have, or even just a past experience with selling that didn't go well. So, it's a past memory that you've had where you once tried to either promote or sell a product or a service. It doesn't have to be the same product or service, but any time in your life, right? You've tried, you put yourself out there and you've reached out to a couple of friends, maybe your family members or anyone, and you tried to promote your item or your service or your product, and you didn't get the response that you wanted. Either they didn't buy it, so you got rejection, or they made fun of you, or they dismissed you, right? Or they said something really nasty to you. And that one incident or even multiple incidences can cause a fear of failure, because that one incident can lead to that first thought: oh my God, I'm such a failure. I didn't sell it. I didn't promote it well enough. I didn't say this, and that's why they didn't buy it. Oh my God, I didn't do it. I didn't do it well. I'm horrible at this. I don't know how to sell. And you keep going. And one thought leads to multiple thoughts now, right? So one thought leads to, I'm not good enough. And then leads to more thoughts like, who am I to do this? I'm never going to be good at sales. I'm a total failure, and it just keeps expanding. So all those thoughts, from one thought about how you did not sell well, now became a family of thoughts. And what do we know from brain science is that once you have, a family of thoughts over and over and over again, it leads to the emotions, right? The emotions being associated around that thought. So when you start to think about things like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not, I don't know how to sell well, I'm not a good salesperson, what is the emotion that ties to it? It's often an emotion of defeat, right? I'm not good enough, anxiety, worry, sadness, everything negative that's associated with that one thought. Now, what do we know about thoughts plus emotion? They lead to habit. So the more you think about the thought and emotion, and it can be just over a period of time or in that same day, the more you think about it: I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I didn't sell well, I didn't sell it, what's wrong with me? It should be easy to sell, what's wrong with me? You keep thinking about it. Here's the thing. Your brain doesn't know that you've only been through one experience. All right. With the constant thinking and the constant feeling of those negative thoughts and feelings, your brain, your body thinks that you're going through failure over and over and over and over again. And so what happens is that it starts to create this habit of you associating selling with failure. And so that's one reason why a lot of people fear selling, because they experience one failure in their life, or one failure or one rejection or one whatever associated with their past experience of selling or promoting or speaking on stages or whatever. One bad experience led to all these negative thoughts and feelings and emotions around it, led to negative habits around it, led to where you are today, where you fear the art of selling, right? You just don't want to do it. Now, the second reason why you might be afraid of selling is probably due to other fears that you have as well. So, one of the things that a lot of people have, around the fear of selling is the fear of judgment, right? So, if I'm gonna put myself out there, if I'm gonna, reach out to this stranger and pitch my service or product, for example, if I were to sell a software and I know that this company is my target audience and I want to reach out to, say, for example, the chief marketing officer, and I reach out to the chief marketing officer, and if he says no, that's a rejection, and I don't want to feel rejected. I don't want to feel the negative emotion, in relation to rejection, because I've experienced it before and I don't like it. I don't like rejection, and so therefore I will not even try. So therefore I have the fear of selling, because every time I think about selling, I think about, oh my gosh, what if he rejects me? What if she rejects me, right? So there's that fear of rejection. Now, another fear that you might have that's causing you to have a fear of selling is the fear of not being good enough. Now, in many societies, depending on where you're from, a lot of kids are taught from a very young age to excel, to be number one, to do well. Everything you do has got to be amazing. You got to do it right. You got to get A's in your school grades and everything. And so it teaches this atmosphere and environment of you gotta do it right. Failure is not an option. You gotta do it right. What's wrong with you if you got a B or a C or a D? You're a failure. And so a lot of these kids then now grow up to become adults, like yourself and myself, where we are afraid to try new things that we are not used to, things that we've never tried before, because we're afraid of doing it wrong or getting rejected or not getting the result that we want, because then we are now a failure, right? Because we can only accept things that will allow us to be successful in, that will give us the result that we want. A lot of us, we have that fear around it. So, for example, selling is something that you cannot control, right? You cannot control if the other person's going to buy it or not. And so a lot of people, instead of going with the flow and being okay and accepting and understanding that rejection is not a rejection of themselves, it's just a rejection of their product or their service in that very moment, they take it and internalize it, and they say, oh, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to experience that rejection of my product or my service, because then they're rejecting me, which then means that I'm not good enough. And so, like a lot of entrepreneurs out there, that's something that I too had to learn how to overcome, that fear of selling, overcoming my fear of selling, because it wasn't something that I was born with. There are some people out there who are born sales people. They're really good at it. They are really good at selling. They're just born to do it. I wasn't someone like this. The confidence that you see right now on this camera, it's something that took me years to practice and to get better at it, right? So it's something that I had to practice it. So would I say that I'm an amazing salesperson right now? No, I wouldn't say it. But would I say that I'm better at sales in comparison to a couple of years ago? Hell yeah. And for me, overcoming the fear of selling is a continuous journey that I recently just went through as well. So if you haven't already checked out my last video, definitely go check it out. I talked about how I lost my self-confidence for a little bit this year and what I did to build it back up. In the very same way, it affected my sales, because I lost my self-confidence and I wasn't selling. I wasn't showing up. So definitely go check that video out. But there are two things that I focused on that really helped me overcome that fear of selling, and I think it's going to help you as well. Now, the first thing that's going to help you overcome your fear of selling is focusing on your thoughts. Now, like I talked about earlier, your thoughts lead to your emotions, that lead to what your body believes, then lead to your being, so who you are as a person, because that's going to lead to the actions you take, the person that you're showing up as. So we start from your thoughts. The very first thing you want to do is to be aware of the thoughts that you're having every time you think about sales or every you think about selling. So I want you to imagine, what if I were to say to you right now, hey, John, I want you to go out there and reach out to 20 top speakers because I want to get them to speak on my stage. Now, for you to go out there and find those 20 speakers, that is an act of selling, because you have to go out there, you have to prospect them, you have to sell them, pitch them the idea of speaking at my conference. That is selling, right? So what is that first thought that came to your mind? Yes, I can do it. Of course I can do it, right? Oh my God, I'm so excited. I just cannot wait to go find these 20 people for you. Or is your thought, oh my God, 20 top speakers, top entrepreneurs, who am I to even reach out to them? What if they reject me? Like, I don't even know where to begin. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So the first thought is just worry and, fear that comes in. So notice that first thought there when I told you to go out there and make a sale. Was it a positive energy thought around it, or was it out of fear? And was there like a negative energy around it? Now, the great thing about thoughts is that it's actually easy to create new thoughts. Now, the moment you catch yourself thinking about something negative around selling and fear of selling comes up, the very first thing you want to do is to move your attention. When you move your attention to something else, so you start thinking about something else, you're no longer thinking about that act of selling. You're no longer thinking about the fear that you feel around selling. So, for example, if you are driving right now and you are thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm off to pitch myself to this chief marketing officer about my software or my product, and I am super nervous and so on, right? You're just so nervous about it. You keep thinking about it. You're like really afraid about it. And suddenly a car almost smacks you right in. So you almost had an accident. Now your thought instantly goes to, oh my God, I almost died. I almost had a car accident. And now you're no longer thinking about the fear and the thought around selling, because your mind, your brain can only think about one thought at a time. It cannot think about two different things at a time. Instead of focusing on the selling, you're focusing on something else in your business or something else in your life. Then fear, you're no longer focusing on that fear that you're having at the very present moment, right? So that's number one. You want to change the focus of your current thought and focus it on something else. Whatever that thing is, it's something positive. Pick something positive, pick something that makes you happy. Anything that moves you away from that fear that you're feeling right now as you're thinking about selling. And then the second thing that you want to do to overcome that fear of selling is to rewire your subconscious beliefs. Now, what are subconscious beliefs? Now, your subconscious beliefs are the beliefs that you have around who you are and the identity that you have about who you are, right? So a lot of times the fear of selling, as we talked about earlier, a couple of reasons why people have the fear of selling, it might be down to that belief that they're not good enough. It might be down to the belief that, they are not a good salesperson because in the past, 10 years ago, they tried to sell something and someone didn't buy it, or they got rejected, or they got, tossed out of an office, or whatever that was, right? So that memory led to a belief that has sustained throughout all these years. And so one of the things that we want to do is to rewire our subconscious beliefs so that we now have a new belief about ourselves. And that new belief is that you are a great salesperson. You are a great salesperson because whatever that you're selling is bringing value to this customer of yours, right? So the moment you start to rewire that subconscious belief, then you no longer have that fear. You slowly move away from that fear of selling because now you're coming from a place of, I am selling something that is valuable to this person, right? I am bringing value to this person. I am a great salesperson. You're no longer being held back by the old subconscious beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're a horrible salesperson, that no one's going to buy your thing, that you're going to get rejected. So those are the old subconscious beliefs. Now, how do you actually rewire subconscious beliefs? The way to rewire your subconscious beliefs is to get into a relaxed, meditative state of being. So that's you sitting down, closing your eyes by yourself, not getting distracted by anything else, and getting into a really relaxed state. Now I want you to start thinking and visualizing who you are as a great salesperson. I want you to visualize yourself selling with ease, selling with excitement, selling with success. And the reason why rewiring your subconscious beliefs works so well is because your brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and a reality. So as you're thinking in your subconscious rewiring, you're thinking about how you're showing up as a successful salesperson. You're thinking about how you're collaborating with all these people that you want to collaborate with. You're thinking about how you're promoting your products and services with ease, with joy, with success. Your brain doesn't actually know that it's just a thought. It doesn't know that. Your brain thinks that it's a reality. So your brain is assuming that you are going through that experience as a reality. And so by knowing that's how our brain works, that's how we're going to start to rewire our subconscious beliefs and thoughts. Now, the very last thing that you want to do to overcome that fear of selling is something more tactical, and that is practice. Now, as with everything in life, practice really does make perfection, right? So as you work on your subconscious beliefs, you work on your thoughts, you also want to work on practicing your sales pitch, whether it's pitching to someone for collaboration, whether it's pitching someone your product or service, the more you practice, the better you get. So for example, right now I'm learning a brand new language, and it's not easy at all learning a new language, but the more I practice, the better I get at it. So at the end of the day, whatever you're trying to do, for example, sales and selling, you can learn all those strategies and tactics, and you can learn from all these sales professionals out there what to say, what kind of verbiage to use, what template to follow. But if you do not have the right thoughts and subconscious beliefs, then you're always going to find yourself battling this problem with overcoming fear of selling. Now, if you found this useful and you want to learn more about how to tap into the power of your mindset, your subconscious beliefs, and business alignment, then I definitely recommend that you go check out our brand new MindFuel membership. It's a brand new membership by my company, MindFuel Community, and it includes monthly themed challenges, includes classes by top world-class leaders and experts in the fields of mindset, subconscious transformation, and business alignment. And right now, there's a founding members prize, so definitely go check that out. It's at mindfieldcommunity.com. I'm going to leave the link below in the description as well. Now, before you go, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the bell notification button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. All right, thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you in another video.